Okay, so I'm going to call the meeting to order at 6:39. I need someone to make a motion to approve and accept the agenda with the caveat of moving executive session to the very front.
So moved what you said.
Okay?
Seconded.
Can we also cut anything?
Not yet. We'll do that as we go along.
Oh, we don't have to do that by motion?
Yeah,
An executive session
is now.
with Dina.
Yeah, with Dina and with the administration.
Oh, bye.
Right, you're not leaving.
We reject it.
Wait a minute, we haven't done, no, sit down, Matt.
Okay,
We haven't
I'm
done
sorry.
it.
I'm rushing the
Yeah,
process.
you're rushing the process here. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Now you can leave.
Okay, Brett? I didn't hear him say anything. Maybe he was opposed. All right, all those opposed? Okay, we have an agenda. All right, now we're gonna. It won't take very long. All right, so we came out of executive session at 7:05. We are now at the time for communications with parents, citizens, and staff. However, if I see someone come back on that had been on there earlier, I will ask them if they wanted to speak to the board, because they may not know that they're able to come back on, because we did have a couple people.
Nobody's waiting, right?
No.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to move on to consent agenda. I do need to pull off item F, signing summer orders. Is there anything else anybody else wants to take off, or they can make a motion?
No, I move that we accept the consent agenda. Except
Minus
for
number F?
Minus F.
Okay. Is there a second?
Sure.
Second.
Okay. All of those that approve the consent agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Hi.
All those opposed? Okay. Consent agenda. All right, so signing summer orders. Can I get someone to make a motion to approve?
Oh, sure, yeah.
All right, so Kevin
I'll second.
and Natalie. All right, discussion. So this is really important stuff. So signing summer orders, in the past, we have let administration do it. I don't think that's a good idea. We really need to do our due diligence and be looking at signing orders. However, that's not really the reason I pulled this one off. Orders we're having a hard time getting orders signed by two people. And this really came to head when we had a bus payment due that did not go out on time, and they charged us a 50% fee, which was $5,000. We were able to knock that down to 50%. So, but we still ended up paying $2,500 a fee because we did not get our payment out on time. So it's very important that when you see those emails from Kayla, to make sure, if you can't do it, I get it. It's summer, but if you can get in there to sign orders, it's really important. I don't want to start assigning people to do it, because that doesn't necessarily work. But if you see the email come out and you have a chance to stop at central office, please do so and go through orders. If you don't know how to do it, ask one of us. We can make a time to meet you there. Barbara signs them. Kevin has signed them. Leslie has signed them. But we shouldn't be relying on the same people all the time. Okay. It all depends. I could show up on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
I know,
Well, right. So, right.
So that's why I'm
Well, that's
wondering
right.
what the hours
So
are.
the hours,
in trouble.
right, and that's another problem is that central office is open from 8 to 4, and during summer it's 8 to 3.
Or is it 7 to 3? Do they open early or something in the summer? I feel like
No,
it's 7.
they're just hours are reduced. It's just 8 to 3.
8 to 3, and
Yeah.
it's 5 days a week.
Yeah.
It is, so they're open
So,
Friday.
Yes, they're open Fridays. So once you see that, just send an email. I'm heading to sign, orders just so that the rest of us know. And there are orders to sign currently.
Yeah.
So those just came out, I think, yesterday. So if people could stop in, that would be great. So that's all I really want to do was pull that off for that reason. But I would like to see us continue to sign orders and not the administration. It's kind of letting them sign off on their own work, and that's not a good precedent for us.
And you sure
Brett
you don't
has
want
his hand.
somebody to have that
Brett.
Yeah, I just have a suggestion because I always feel like I don't know if someone's already signed them. So we're good about sending out the email saying that they need somebody to sign them, but we're not so good about sending out the email saying that it's complete.
So-
or that one of two or
Right.
something like that. So
So if you're
if we
thinking,
could,
well, I'm not going to ask Kayla to do updates all the time because she's got other work to do, and that's really not her thing is to wrangle us, but if you're not sure, shoot her an email. She'll respond. Or shoot one of us that, so I think it's easier to shoot her an email and say, hey, have orders been signed, or do you still need someone? And for her to respond and say yes or no.
It'd be easier
Rather
if we
than-
just said, hey, I'm going to sign the orders.
Yeah, well, there's that too. So just, So they do come out on Tuesdays normally. So they're available ready on every other Tuesday.
God, my brain really wants us to have a person who does it, like,
Well-
for a certain number of weeks, and then.
Well, yes, but then there's
rotate.
always the issue, I can't do it this week because I have this going on and I have that going on. And that usually doesn't work either. So,
What about e-signing?
no, because you have to be able to look through all of the orders.
Yeah, it's
and
a
there's-
big packet.
It's
of
a
orders.
huge packet, Brett. You're looking at all of the
Oh, I know.
backup. Yeah.
I've
So,
done it, but,
okay.
but why? I don't know. Do we have to print that all off? We can't digitize that and do like a DocuSign?
I don't know if we're set up for that. We're kind of like other archaic beasts. So I'm not sure.
It's a lot of paper too.
Well, it is, but I'm not sure if. So I'm not sure. I could ask Brenda. She's not here at the moment.
Everything.
Right. It would have to be scanned, and that's probably another time-consuming.
A lot of things
Thing.
are receipts that are attached to other pieces
Right.
of paper that would need.
That are
lot
odd
of
sides
staples.
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's right.
Exactly.
So.
That is archaic.
Okay.
And I think, like, when I get when we get the emails and I, like, email back, it just goes to Kayla because I can't email the whole.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Right.
can't do that.
Is it every Tuesday?
No, every other.
Okay.
It's every
I'll just
other.
put it on my calendar,
Okay.
and then
That means next week.
I just need to
No, it's
feel
this,
like I have
this
it
week.
assigned
She
to
sent
me.
it out this week,
Otherwise,
or her
it's just
email
not
came
gonna
out.
happen.
I think.
Yeah, I think it came out
Okay.
today.
I'll self-assign, because
Okay.
I just, if it's not on my calendar, it's just not gonna happen.
Right. No, I understand that. So, but if we just need to get into a better system,
Right.
and if you do want to, assign people, every month have 2 different people be the signers, I suppose we could do that. But
Okay.
if you forget or if it's,
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand.
so
It should be 3. So there's always a full.
well, we should have 3 people, right, and 2 people show up. Yeah, there we go. All right. So can I get someone? Actually, never mind. So all of those that approve signing summer orders, which would be 2 of us, when the email comes out, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay. All right, let's see. There's nothing there. Flipping over to page 2. All right, you guys had an EL monitoring report 2.9 equity. It was in your packet. Can I get someone to make a motion to accept that monitoring report?
I move to accept it.
Thank you, Natalie. Is there a second?
Sure, I second it.
Fernanda. Okay. Any discussion? This was the last EL report Renee did before he went out on leave. He should be he's planning on being back for graduation next week. So. Giving you a couple of minutes to look at it if you hadn't had a chance.
I'm good with it.
Any questions? Concerns? We have Debbie who I'm sure would be happy to answer them.
I'm good.
All right, so all of those that approve or accept, the monitoring report 2.9 on equity, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so monitoring report passes. Okay, so for us, governance process, we have a monitoring report for ourselves, board monitoring report 4.7, governance investment. I don't have that in front of me.
I have it right here.
It needs to be updated.
The whole thing?
Well, like it says board PD funds were cut for 2024-25.
Oh, that's true, and they were reinstated. They are reinstated for 25-26.
Oh, there?
Yes, they are.
Okay.
Okay, so we can take that out.
So it's about the board what? Funding?
Yeah, board
Board
PD.
PD funds were
PD
cut.
funds.
There's 2 spots.
Yeah. All right, so we'll make that change. Anything else?
Well, I mean, it talks about the open meeting law training by the district attorney at the board retreat. I don't know if that's gonna happen every year, or.
I don't know. Well, that we're going to talk about that a little later as to what you want to do at the board retreat. There's one thing that we are definitely doing, but other than that, it's up to you guys.
And the board cuts are, the PD cuts are in 2 places, so
Yeah.
not just in one.
Right. Yep. We'll go make that change.
No.
We must have reviewed this in September last year for that to be in there.
Oh, right.
I think by now we knew.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Then we will make those changes and move on. Community linkage, board member recruitment. So open seats. We now have 4 open seats. 2 at large, 1 at Whiting, which has not been filled for almost a year and a half. Actually, it's been more than a year and a half. And Pittsburgh?
2 student seats.
And we're gonna have to find 2 students. That's right, for the fall. I did see it in the Otter News that all of the emails that are going out to parents and things. And I know that Melinda is also going to be putting it in the paper for over the summer. So hopefully we might have some letters by the time we have our board retreat, or maybe even by our June 24th meeting. But if you've got any ideas, anybody you think that would be a good board member to appoint until March, have them write a letter, send it to me or Melinda, and we'll put it in the board packet. But we do need some more voices at the table, especially with everything that's going on. I think it's important that we have as many voices as we can. We're going to skip the next one because Brenda's not here to tell us, and I'm also going to skip the Ely Trust for now because she would be really good about that. Can you talk about the after-school programming,
I can.
Debbie? Okay.
So let me find your thing. Yes, Boys and Girls Club.
Yep.
So I don't know the exact number, but I think it was under $100 that we have paid so far, as compared to $80,000 in the past. The piece that's been just really great about this partnership is that all of our, not all of them, but the staff that Boys and Girls Club hired were almost all of the staff that we had hired, that we already employed through our SOAR program and our LEAP program. So that is really, if we want to talk about why it's been successful, it's because we were able to maintain the same staff that we had that were really committed. So, yes, I don't want to discount the Boys and Girls Club structure, because they have certainly provided all of that, but the success has come from our staff that was here before, knowing the children and what they need and the dedication. It says contract renewal, so I'm guessing that Brenda had that on there due to.
It expires June 30th.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and we had done this as a 1-year
Right.
pilot program.
We
One
were
of
going to
the,
look to see how it's going.
yeah, there had been some parent concerns, and I just wondered about doing it this way, and I just wondered have we surveyed parents? Do we have any info from parents?
So we did reach out to our administrators to see sort of, we actually did that a couple of months ago. And the administrators let us know that in the very beginning, there were sort of some growing pains as far as, communication and things like that, but they were also hiring the directors. That was ironed out pretty smoothly. Anytime we ask the boys, if anyone brings something to me, like, for example, hey, we have a kiddo whose parent says they haven't heard from the Boys and Girls Club. That happened at one of the smaller schools. We call them, and either they're already on it or they do, respond to it. So we have not. We didn't do any parent surveys. I would have remembered that.
We did not.
Yeah, we just talked with it, we just spoke with administrators, and they.
And you have, like, Stacy's on.
Yeah.
Have
Yes,
we-
Stacy is on.
Have we heard any complaints or arguments recently, like in the past couple of months from parents?
I
haven't
haven't
heard
had
anything
any.
all year.
Okay. Well, she talked about growing pains in the beginning. So, I mean, I was
I
assuming.
think the enrollment was a little rocky.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't think that,
Once again, so at SOAR at LEAP, for example, well, both programs, the on-site director, if you will, is one of our former people or worked in there, like Jen Pop is the one at SOAR at LEAP, and she worked there before, not as the on-site person, but she worked LEAP before, so she's well aware of families and how to get information out and how to communicate. So once our people were sort of in key places, everything seems to be.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
the Boys and Girls Club credits the success
They do,
to our
yeah.
carryover staff.
And is there a new contract? Have they provided a new contract to sign?
They did on Monday, which was
Okay.
yesterday, which I haven't looked at yet.
Okay. So we're not approving the new contract yet, then we will postpone that?
You can, or I'm not planning on making any changes to the new contract.
Is it a year contract?
It's an annual contract.
Okay.
And their summer program,
So actually, there is a change. Thank
Yeah.
you, Fernanda. So last year, we ran the summer program, and they started in August with the first day of school. Actually, they started with Labor Day. This year, they are starting July 1st, and, well, so this year, they're starting their summer on June 20, whatever that Monday is.
Okay.
So their summer is a full June, whatever that first Monday
June
is.
26th or is it June 19th?
I think it's June 19th
Okay.
to, I think it's in here, to like August 15th.
so you do need a
That is
contract.
new.
So you do
Okay.
need a contract, because otherwise,
Well, yes, that will just, the only change in the contract will be that there is a summer program incorporated.
Okay. So
And they
we,
do have a couple of people on the waiting list, but not a lot. And they do have quite a few students enrolled in the summer program. I read this report last week, which feels like 3 months ago.
So we need to approve this before
well, yeah, so I,
tonight.
so is the contract what's in here? Oh, no, this is last
No,
year.
That's
this is
last year's
just a
contract.
sort of-
Okay.
Yeah.
so essentially we can know that we're probably going to approve the contract, but in order for us to see it, we won't do that until next board meeting.
Yeah, I can send it to you for the 24th.
All right.
And Stacy did confirm that all is good. I sent her a message and she said everything's
All right.
going
So we're going to pull the contract renewal and do that next meeting, which would be June 24th.
But that means they'll start without a contract on June 19th.
I
So
don't
we're
know this
tabling.
contract until June 30th.
Okay,
Yeah.
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 that's good.
So we should be okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but other than that, everybody is good with the Boys and Girls Club. It sounds like it's going well. So as far as it being a pilot program, we're happy with them, and our people are, or our previous people are the people running it. So it should do well.
Great.
Okay. So I'm going to back up now that we have Brenda here.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. Estimated year-end financial review and possible action.
Yes.
Are we moving that to June 24th too?
I don't think you need to. You're
Okay.
welcome to. So I did give you an estimate of where. We are projecting right now that we would save in this fiscal year, and this is always conservative at this time of year. Was it 300,000 or 400,000? You guys are really taxing me.
That's a lot of money.
Where are we looking right now?
This report.
There should be a report in your packet.
Yeah, by
Yes,
May.
Budget,
we're
yeah.
projecting that we will, at this time, by looking at expenses school by school, site by site, approximately $386,000 in savings at this time of year, and most of it is from vacated positions that couldn't be filled.
Okay.
And then just some cost of doing business savings that happen. at this time of year, really, the only thing we ask you to do is discuss what you want to do with it, not the dollar amount, because the dollar amount won't be finalized until June 30th.
Usually we do percentages. That's what we do,
Right.
and then you tell
And
us.
usually I'd recommend that you do some to the after-school fund and some to the facility fund. I would recommend that you direct me to put the full surplus into the facility fund. You are also welcomed to leave some in the general fund for kind of a return to taxpayers to help with taxpayer increases in the future. I'll tell you that's a double-edged sword, because it is nice the first time and it sets you back the second time,
Right.
because you're already behind on that.
Yeah, because you got to make it up the next year.
It looks
So
like
it's
revenue.
double.
Right.
And we do we have a healthy facility fund, and we have healthy facility needs that we know are coming up. Regardless of anything that may happen with H454, we know we have needs and building things to address. So my recommendation is that you, and you don't have to wait, but you can, until the 24th to move it into the facility fund. By moving it into the facility fund, it's there for annually looking at summer projects. It's also there for anything we might do with the facility project, the group, the committee that's been working, and I know they're coming to you in 2 weeks.
Yep.
I
So-
move that we put 100% in facilities.
Okay, is there a second?
Any need in the after-school program? No.
No, we
Yeah,
only
we
used
paid
$100.
$48 this
Right,
year.
okay, so, right, so that's,
Yeah.
so then I
Yeah.
All right.
second that.
Kevin actually was the one who seconded it.
And we have a lot of facilities.
Yeah, $386,000 is not going to do enough.
You just wave your
Right,
hand and-
okay. So, any other potential questions for Brenda at this point about putting 100% of the facility fund
Surplus.
surplus into the facility fund? Okay, all of those that agree with that, please signify by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Okay, then it's going in the facility fund. Perfect. Ely Trust Fund update. I held that one back too. I know you and, so Brendan and I both attended a Zoom meeting with the facilitators or the trustees.
Or the investors.
They're investors of the Ely Trust Fund. And a few years ago when we had that meeting, we were worried that that fund was no longer going to be viable. However, we didn't use it for a couple of years, and it seems to be quite healthy. It was right around the $1 million mark.
Yes.
So,
I think there is a report in the.
yeah, there should be a report or the
They presented.
right, the deck that they presented. The thing that I thought was important that you know, and it might have been written in there, was that they've been able to invest in some stuff that because of the market rates that they've always wanted to invest in that they thought was too expensive. They were able to buy into that stuff, so that should also help. As those go back up, we were able to buy at a discount. Hopefully, we'll see the Ely Trust Fund continue to.
And that's very narrow earmark, right?
Yeah, it's only allowed to be used for
For
Neshabie.
Neshabie School.
Yeah, and we do have to use 5% a year.
5% a year.
5% a year. So,
And it's the investment, the question that Lori always asks is, should we be thinking about changing our investment strategy? And they, and that's what we pay them to do, is help us make those decisions, and they said no. So it is not in mutual funds, which is what maybe a lot of us do, but it is invested in majority large cap stocks, some medium-sized industries, and some governmental bonds. So it's balanced, but it is not a mutual fund. If you were to look at the portfolio, it's companies you would recognize.
right. Yep. Yeah, didn't they buy Google this year?
I think Google, Apple.
Yeah, there's like some really, yeah.
What's the process for requesting the use of those funds?
It's us. There is no request for the use. We have an investment policy, which is a policy that you have adopted, that says we will withdraw 5% of the value, the market value, as of, I'm 95% certain it was September 30th. And it comes in with it being earmarked to offset the debt associated with the Nashville biomass project, the debt service related to putting a biomass boiler into the Nashville school in 2015, 2018, something like that. So we'll take that 5% and apply it to a Nashville project. That project doesn't end until I think 2035. And at that point, there may be something, there would be a new thing to look at Nashville to help support.
Yep.
Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions about the Ely Trust Fund? Okay, checking them off. Hawk Hill Community Committee update. So Fernanda has said that as much as she loves Hawk Hill and everything that it encompasses, having a hard time finding time for it. Right? Would that be true?
I mean, we've had 2 meetings this year. Scheduled a third. I was not available due to my concussion during that time. We didn't meet the third time. I did talk to Josh. There's a planned meeting in August. It's still unclear what the committee wants to do. There's still an open seat. The historical representative is not filled.
Okay.
We have done a couple of projects that are, and it's basically supporting more than anything the outdoor program. Josh he's done some, they've done signage for the trails again. So we have talked about what to do. We did assign Dan Snow to the committee to be able to take over so things have happened, but it's hard for me to imagine to me there's more potential there, but there's also very little opportunity for that potential to be met without some outside support. Does the school want to engage in more with Hawk Hill? Does with the recreation use, Josh wrote to me and said there's a little concern over some misuse of bike trails.
Oh.
But, so those are the things that we talk about. But I don't, there's much more to be done. But what I said was, if somebody else would like to take it on to be the chair, I'm happy to have somebody else do it. This is what I'm providing. I'm providing an opportunity for conversation 3 times a year with the people who are now members to make sure that everything continues to be done according to the
agreement.
That's as much as I've gotten.
Okay.
Haven't met its larger potential. Anybody dying to be on the Hawk Hill committee? Kevin, you've done
I've done
paid your
yeah.
dues, right?
Yeah.
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 It's a lovely group of people, and it's a great conversation.
Can I
It's
ask
not
a-
that I'm opposed to doing it. I'm just not feeling like I'm doing my best job. That's all.
Can I ask a couple of questions?
What?
How's the graveyard looking? I know that Bob Clark used to take care of it, and Bill Powell.
Yeah, and there is a question about there was a bill this summer from somebody who did some mowing that wasn't solicited, but they billed, and then we realized that there used to be a grant that was maintaining bird habitat, and that's what the mowing was done for, but apparently nobody let this person know that the grant is done, and it shouldn't be done, so somebody in the committee was going to tell them. So that was just one other thing that was around that. The cemetery seems okay. I was there just 2 weeks ago, or a few weeks ago,
And then my other question was the history.
I know the preserving of all the work that.
Oh, I know Bill did a ton of work on. I think the history is well known thanks to his work. And I know that the charter requires a historical representative, but I don't know. Is there any discussion of maybe having a VSU Castleton's archaeology department come in? Or
No, that's one of the things on the list of people to reach out to.
Okay.
And, we went with a forester this time to try to get, we needed to have an assessment of the trees, and so we did that. But we haven't gone into the bigger picture of the history. I would love to find out where all that history is kept right now, because I don't have it, and I don't know who has the documentation. Anyway, it is a lovely place. It is magical. It really is magical. It's just lovely. People haven't gone. One of our conversations had to do with perhaps during pre-week being able to have one of the activities that teachers could engage in is to have a walk up Hog Hill and get to see it, because there's so many people who've never been there. And I think once they see it and they see its potential, they might think of uses of it. So, we've been trying to figure out, is there a possibility for engaging the staff, the teachers during pre-week or at some moment to visit or do an open house, kind of thing where people come. The kiosk needs to be rebuilt, and we're talking about how we might be able to do that, because it's starting to fall apart. Because we talked about honoring the two members that have left that had a long presence, and one was Bud and the other one was our historian, and the people who are supposed to write something haven't handed it in, and I haven't pursued them, but also it got us to a conversation about the kiosk and the fact that to put it there would not necessarily, it's falling apart. We need to rebuild it. So one thing led to another. So those are the little things that we are pushing along on, but just wanted to, it's not like my dream was to be able to really think about its educational purpose and be able to really expand its use for the schools, in that I haven't had the bandwidth to figure that out.
Well, sorry, can I?
Yeah.
So Hog Hill is our property.
Right.
And it has, been an incredible asset that is cost neutral. And that is usually when things are done, it's covered by a grant. When you bring a forester in and we do brush hogging, we usually actually forest some trees and some timber, so it ends up being cost neutral. But I will say that it is our property. It is covered under our grounds. And should you get to the point where you felt that the kiosk could may be unsafe and should be replaced, it is something this board has the authority to use facility funds to do.
And we also talked about getting signage that makes it really, really clear where the school boundary is during hunting season and beyond, because people do hunt there. And we always wondered about, and they get permits to hunt, and that process is all in place. But it's not clear where the school boundary begins and where the Hog Hill ends, and people get worried that mistakes may be made, not purposefully or intentionally, but that there may be people with weapons in a part of the grounds that they shouldn't have them.
Shouldn't be in.
So we would like some funds for that. We did talk about that.
Yes.
We were going to come back to it in June.
And I think signage would be easily within the operating budget. I'm not concerned about that at all.
Okay. The
I
kiosk
think
would be a little more.
I think a kiosk would be something I'd say you should consider with the facility fund. I would certainly say I think it's worth it. It sounds like you're not at a point to make that happen, but I just wanted to point it out that it is.
No, but if I bring it back to the group that the funds might be available, then the conversation of how we would go about doing
Well,
it.
so far, only one person who doesn't have
No.
a vote said that. These people have to agree with
No,
me.
but that's what I. So if you tell me that fixing the kiosk is one thing or rebuilding it, I think there is potential for how it could get done.
And I think another thing we should do is maybe tap into our community, our communications coordinator to highlight what that is. And as summer is coming, to let our communities know about this asset for summertime.
Is that person already on board?
It's Max.
It's changing. It's going
Yeah,
to be-
that's what I wondered.
So it's a great point about being school property, and the most important use, and certainly the most frequent use, as you know, is Moose Lamoo program. It might be, I'm sure he has input on the committee anyway, but asking Josh what the priorities would be.
Oh, I always,
for-
that's where we always go,
Yeah.
and that's where we begin. And so the dream, right, of the committee, I mean, this was a conversation we had. The conversation had to do with, we would like to promote it as an ecological site, that has historical value and preservation, and recreation is a piece of it, but not, we want to make sure, like, for example, that we promote the idea of having foraging tours, or, guided ways of enjoying the ecology of Hog Hill. That's what's really beautiful and valuable. People hike, they bring their dogs, none of it, some people ride their bikes. All of that is great, but, he really would like to see it valued for it, as a ecological site and historical site that requires taking care of. And I think the Hog Hill, I think his program, Muslimu, is really, they see themselves as the stewards of Hog Hill, right? So everything they do and they learn is how to keep, they make sure that if a tree falls, they're the ones who cut it. If, they keep the trails clear, they keep the signage on, they check to see that the life, the wildlife habitats are in good condition, so they really see themselves. I mean, that's part of the purpose of that program is in what he likes to teach them is to see themselves as the stewards of that hill, which I think is of huge value, but nobody knows it. Right? Like nobody knows that these group of kids are really dedicated to taking care of this beautiful place and do a lot of work to maintain it. So yeah, having an article, being able to promote their commitment to the work, I think it would be really valuable, and I think it would mean a lot to them, But that's the way. So it's more about that, and it's a great balance because it is used for hunting and hiking and biking, and people do enjoy it in the community, but the overall value of it really is the woods and the ramps that grow in the hill and so.
We'll revisit this again in the fall.
So do you need to, so am I still chair? Is that?
Right now you are.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Until we find
Maybe
someone else.
forever.
Right, well, yeah.
Is there a way, does the board need to, or should the board do anything about suggesting that we repair the kiosk, or do we need to be asked by the board?
I feel like they should recommend
I think
it
they
to
should
the board.
recommend it to us.
We should recommend it. So we are meeting in August.
Okay.
We decided to not try to do a meeting in the spring, so we're going to meet in August. And when we reconvene in August, I will bring that up as part of the possibility.
I'll come to that meeting if you.
Beautiful.
All right. Thank you for that. Stafford,
You have to remind me.
I will.
which means calling him 5 minutes before. Just saying. All right. Stafford Technical Center update. I think was there a Stafford meeting last week?
There was, I didn't make it, I'm sorry.
He called him.
I have nothing to report. New from
Okay.
I will say that Otter Valley was very well represented. I went to the graduation, and we had a lot of students that were awarded different things throughout the ceremony, so.
Well, yeah, and we do have a couple students that are going on to the big competition wherever it's being held. The U.S. The U.S. whatever it's called.
I forget too. Yeah.
But yeah, so I believe Andrew Easter's going, and there's another student from here that's going as well. So
Yeah, it was actually an OV student who introduced the keynote speaker as well, so it was
that's awesome.
very well represented this year.
Cool. All right. August board retreat planning. So you'll see 3 bullet points under that. One of the things we'll be talking about is the educational reform that may or may not be happening up in Vermont now, up
They
in the
might still be
legislature.
negotiating it.
I know, right? Who knows? Geez. We'll also be talking about our cell phone ban policy, depending on where we're at with that. But I wanted some other PD considerations, and I'm not expecting you to come up with them tonight, but I would like you to think about it over the next couple of weeks before we meet again in June, on June 24th, to give me some ideas of what else you'd like to see during that retreat time, so that we have things that are relevant to us, and that are exciting. Well,
So
maybe not
August 4th
exciting.
is a Monday. Is that when we're having it?
Did I say 24th?
Oh, 4th is what I heard, but is it
June 24th. June
June
24th
24th is the next meeting, but the retreat is on,
is going to be in August. We haven't decided that date yet.
okay, got it.
Sorry. Yes. But these are all things that I would like to plan ahead of time with Renee. And so I would like you guys to come up with a list. I could come up with a list, but you'll all hate me. And Renee has threatened gut policy governance. So please think about something else. So, anyway, so
Kevin's gonna co-teach that. With
I know, right? All right. So anyway, so come up with some ideas on that. RNESU board retreat, or board update. Excuse me. The RNESU board met a couple of weeks ago. We did renew our food service contract with Abbey Group. We have new hot lunch rates as well. Was there anything else that we discussed at that SU meeting that was important? Those were the two things. I think.
I'm gonna say no.
I think you also purchased new copiers and printers.
Oh, yeah, we sure did that. Woo! Okay. So, yes, we did. That's right, because Greg pointed that out. All right. Anyway, so we wanted to keep you updated on what RNESU is doing. Other business for future consideration. Anybody got something?
Yeah, so first of all, looks like the last Stafford meeting was May 14th.
Oh, I talked to Melinda. She thought there was another one that was just a week or so ago.
Okay,
Maybe that was the May 14th one that she was talking about.
That's only 2 weeks.
Anyway, the new business that I'd like to throw out there, and this is not a motion or anything, given the budgetary problems we have, the fact that we're still in a negotiation with the teachers, teacher morale in general, I was wondering if there's any kind of way, maybe like a monthly lunch or something that the board could just have open for meetings with teachers to let them know that we respect them, that we care about them, that we want to understand their issues, and not always have this kind of formal across a table relationship where it's in a formalized setting and we're kicking them out because their time's up and things like that. So I think just getting to know teachers as people, listening to what they have to say, it would be very useful for the environment we have as a community and as a school system. So just want to toss that out there.
Maybe that's a retreat.
Well, so I'm going to have a couple things to say about that. I mean, it's always important to our teachers know that we support them. However, I also want to point out that any kind of issues that teachers are having, they should be bringing to the administration and
Sure.
not directly
Yep.
to us.
Yep.
So I would suggest one of the times that we meet with teachers where if there's no pressure is at convocation, which is in August. I'm there. There's a luncheon. It's really,
Ice cream.
Well, yes, that's true. There was ice cream the last year.
We always
So,
need scoopers.
right?
Dancing.
Don't look at me. I just want to eat it. Anyway, but I would suggest that we try and do things like that with them. They also always invite us to their Christmas party or to their December party. I would suggest that you guys go. It's actually a lot of fun.
Where is that?
Jeff Jeske sends it out every year. Maybe he didn't send it to everybody this year. He always invites me, but he has invited the board before. So it is a lot of fun.
You have to don an ugly sweater, I think.
Yeah, well, I don't do that part. But, you can, there's a gift exchange and you just get to go and hang out with teachers, eat food and in a relaxed setting. So I think we find those kinds of avenues to meet with teachers at their level and not necessarily try and do anything. If something came along that was extra that made sense to do, I would definitely consider it. But I think there's opportunities already for us to be out there and talking to our teachers and just saying, hey, how's it going? going to open houses, things like that. Those are all the things that we should be doing. That puts us in FaceTime with them.
Yeah, well, I think we need, certainly, I'll just speak for myself, I need to maximize those opportunities.
I think we should talk
I think
about
I
that
do
at the
too.
retreat, about how the board can interact more with.
Okay, but those are all options that are available currently.
Right, and so like, let's lay them out, let's talk
Okay.
about them, let's put them in a list, or.
See a calendar.
See, I can get you a calendar.
I'm calling it teacher togetherness. And
It's
when
just
you all
sometimes
look at
hard
that,
because
when you
we-
look at that, and I say I don't know what this means, you'll be like, "Remember last meeting?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Well, I
okay.
have to see, we have, the way we find out, right, is we open a newsletter or something, we see what's happening, and then we have to
Right.
put it on our calendar, and then we have to, it just would be nice if there was a more direct route, like,
Well, there-
this is the calendar of events for the,
Right, I think there is
There
gonna
there is a district-wide calendar on the web.
right, yeah.
that's one more step.
So what Fernanda is suggesting, which is what I do at the college, is like Melinda would send out an invite to just the board members that says, here's when the Christmas party is, or
The open house at blah, 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 is
Yeah.
from here to here. And here is like 5 open houses
another
that are
thing that we
happening next
do
week.
is like they host lunch, and like all the board members might cook grilled cheese while the
Well, I know. Well, like
You know,
Christmas
things like
time when
that.
they have the Abbey, when they have their holiday luncheons, there's nothing saying that we can't go and help. I mean, if we're invited, and we don't want to be in the way, of course.
Can provide the food for
well, that's
convocation.
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, should we be there helping to serve food, or
Well, that's what the Abbey group does. We're just there to eat it and talk to teachers. So,
But I think we're taking Kevin's point well, which is,
Right.
let's take care of those opportunities, which I have not been super good at, to really have those.
right, I mean, we do know all the dates of the open houses that happen in the fall. That is in Renee's. Right. Well, and it's in Renee's thing, and somehow I have the whole Otter Valley calendar tied into my
Yeah,
my
see, I
Google
don't.
calendar. I don't know how I did that. It just showed up there. So.
I use Outlook, so I don't have any
Oh,
of it.
okay. All right. Well, anyway, so there's lots of things, but okay, we'll make sure that it's accessible somehow, and make sure you all feel like you're knowing what's going on, because we should do that. And but yeah, I mean, it's good. It's point well taken. I just don't know that we have to recreate the horse. I think
The point well taken that we don't want to be adjudicating things that we shouldn't be.
Right.
But, yeah, I think getting to know teachers as people in a more relaxed setting is a good
Yep.
thing to do.
Yeah.
I've got one other announcement thing, too. I was spoken around Neshabie yesterday because I...
in a weird sort of way,
in a
or
weird sort of way,
okay.
yeah. Because...
Reward that.
I know, right? Were the police called?
no police
okay.
called.
All right.
But,
Should they have been?
well, the something that everybody's forgotten. I think many of the people there don't even see anymore. Is the school clock in Neshabie, which is quite old. And I did a little investigation of it, and there'll be an article coming out in next week's Reporter, I think, about
Okay.
the story of the school clock. So
Where is the school clock?
see, it's right in the lobby. You go on the way. If you go into
Okay.
the gym cafeteria,
Yeah.
it's on the wall to your right, facing the music room door.
Okay, looking forward to.
It is
reading that.
gigantic. I don't know how people miss it. I've been staring at it for years.
I remember seeing that.
Wow. This is like part 2 of the bells, the bell story that happened a few years ago.
Yeah.
Bell, the
Don't bring
clock.
up the Goshen Fund.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So I assume you guys don't want to meet in July, right?
Correct.
All right. But we do need to come up with an annual retreat date in
Wait,
August.
if you're not meeting in July, how are you paying orders?
Oh, we'll be
Talked
around.
about it already.
Okay.
You were out of the room.
We already did that, yeah.
Okay, good. Phew.
It's on my calendar.
We're committed.
We're committed.
determined.
So, usually what we do is we don't have a meeting anytime in July. We skip the first meeting in August, and our board retreat is the second meeting of the month, essentially, which would be the third Tuesday.
19th.
Okay? Which is the 19th. Are you guys okay with that?
I won't be here.
How rude.
I know.
Okay?
That's
This
the,
is, this is August 19th?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean that we
Actually,
have to
no,
do
the
it that
19th, I don't know right now. It depends on college.
All right, well, anyway, so what I would like you guys to look at your calendars for next meeting, because we don't have to decide tonight, but we do need to decide by next week, or by the 24th, is either the 19th or the 26th, which, when does school start?
Probably the 27th.
27.
27th, okay, so I'm not sure that we want to be doing, the night before school starts. At least not with us
I'm
who
more
have
likely
kids.
to be here in town. I
Yeah.
don't have any plans right now.
So, anyway, so just put that on your calendar. If a Tuesday doesn't work, we can always move it to a different day, but we'd have to talk to Renee about what kind of day would work. Okay? All right, so keep that in your calendars too. We have a facilities committee meeting next Tuesday, 2 weeks from now, June 17th, here at 5:30. And then we will present our facility whatever to the board at the June 24th meeting. And other than that, I got nothing, and I would host, actually, I do have something, I'm sorry, almost forgot. As noted earlier tonight, we are losing our 2 student reps, Jasmine Rivera and Brendan McLaughlin, who was so kind to come tonight and tell us about the baseball score where we lost.
Yeah.
Boo. Anyway, but we want to thank you very much for all of your time and commitment to the board and being here. And where are you going to college?
Bowden.
Okay, and what are you studying?
Government and legal studies.
And so, how many years before should we
At least 4.
find out what date you're going to become the president of the United States?
That's 70 years away.
70? Oh, come on. No, you can be 35. I know that. All right, so should we wait till you're 36? All right, well,
I'm not
anyway.
doing that again.
But anyway, we wish you well in all of your next moves, and we will miss you.
Appreciate it. Miss you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also just want to mention that your daughter and many other players are going to be missed as members of the Walking Stick Theater. They did an amazing job last weekend with the complete works of Shakespeare, abridged, revised again, whatever it's called.
Yep, I heard my daughter lost her britches.
She dropped her trousers. Yes, she did. She
Okay.
did some soft shoes. She told some jokes. She did her best to, keep the audience entertained while people were fleeing the stage. It was very funny. It was very funny.
Good. Well, awesome. I know we are losing 15 members of that group.
Wow.
Really?
All in one fell
I
swoop.
believe there's
Yep.
one junior.
3
right?
guys
Chloe-
after.
Is Chloe Mull
Yeah,
the
1
only
junior and three guys in the whole troop after.
Yeah.
Are there people interested in joining?
There's people interested,
yeah,
but
sure.
Amazing folks that are
Just right now.
it's the COVID. These are the
This'll be a
COVID years
rebuilding
coming
year.
through that they're finally affecting theater.
forward to
Those,
some
if
Ibsen
those
next
kids are
year.
that age.
So I can tell you that Jordan's group was the 7th grade. They were the 7th graders when COVID hit,
Yeah.
and so we lost all of those people that would have gone into theater
Yeah.
behind them.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a few, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still amazing, the ripples, huh?
It is. It is.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
I will
so
enjoy seeing you around town.
we'll see you at graduation.
Yeah, we'll see you there.
Okay. All right. So if there's nothing else to discuss, I would entertain a motion to adjourn at 8 o'clock. Did you see that? 8 o'clock.
Oh my God.
And everybody wanted to take things off of the agenda. I'm just saying. All right.
Sure. Move. So move.
All right.
Okay.
All right. Leave. And that's your way of saying yes. All right. Thank you, guys.
Oh, Lord.